if you guys are not aware, Black Panther obviously was canceled. Everybody knows Black Panther was canceled, right? And now we have a little bit more insider information as to the reason why it was canceled. And it kind of brings up a lot of questions, right? I feel like it brings up a lot of questions because it makes you, well, not that it makes you wonder, but it kind of validates what a lot of us feel about the mainstream gaming industry and certain people that are working in the industry that swear they're so amazing and they always do great work and blah, blah, whatever toxic positivity nonsense. So apparently Black Panther was canceled because it wasn't far enough along in development. Now, keep in mind, we saw something like this happen very similar recently for another game that was also canceled semi-recently. And we're talking about the Wonder Woman game, right? So Monolith was making the Wonder Woman game. And when they canceled that game, there was a lot of insider information that was basically saying that there wasn't much of a game to cancel in the first place. And the hilarious thing is that game was in development for years. For years, they spent over $100 million on the Wonder Woman game and had barely anything to show for it and got it canceled. So now we have Black Panther that has also been canceled, and we don't quite know how much they spent on it. But I gotta imagine, considering it's Black Panther, they probably spent a pretty penny on it. But again, we have no numbers right now. This game was also canceled because they didn't really have much of a game to show for it. At this point, they keep trying to make these activists that want to be developers, not because they love video games, but because obviously it's their way into their eventual future political career, or at least that's how they feel anyway. They keep having to rely on these people to make video games, and it's becoming harder and harder for them to do so because they just don't have the skills or the ability to pull it off. So let's see exactly what's going on here. So again, let's read the headline. Black Panther was canceled because it wasn't far enough along in development. Earlier this week, it was revealed that EA had canceled the in-development Black Panther game and shut down its developer Cliffhanger Studios. Oh, by the way, guys, hold on, wait. I can't show it to you on stream because I don't want them to copyright the stream, because they will, right? They will pull a Ubisoft and absolutely strike the channel. So I can't show you what I'm about to talk to you about. But did you guys see all of the leaked screenshots from the Black Panther video game that is going around on social media right now that are 100% legit? Did you see those screenshots? Because if you saw those screenshots and you saw the drawing of Black Panther, you would realize that it all makes sense. It all makes sense, right? Yeah, there was screenshots. Oh, yeah, there was screenshots. So there was concept art and everything. But if you look at the concept art and if you look at the drawing, let me see if I can find it. I'll link it in the chat right now. Hold on. Black Panther leaks. I want to show you because I want to drive a point home. Black Panther leaked screenshots. Where is it at? Black Panther game. The reason why is because the drawing for Black Panther, the concept art that got leaked, you're going to realize very quickly that it makes total sense as to who was working on this game. Okay? Perfect. I have the picture. Okay, so I'm going to link this to you. You guys ready for this? Look, I'm linking this in the chat. Pull it up on a separate screen. This is a concept art drawing from the Black Panther video. I'm not kidding. I linked it in both Rumble and I linked it in YouTube. Now, go look at that picture, and I want you guys to remember who was working on this video game, right? Who was working on this video game? So, Danny Lalanders was working on this video game. And if you look at that picture, okay, look at that picture. What does that remind you of, guys? If you look at that picture, what does that remind you of? That Black Panther photo, what does that remind you of? You know what that reminds you of? This right here. This right here. It looks almost identical to Validate, her previous game that she worked on. If you look at the concept drawing, it is damn near almost identical to Validate. The way that they drew Black Panther. I'm not kidding. This is the game that she worked on previously. Now go look at the concept art. I'm telling you. So it makes a lot of sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. You can see the inspiration in design, right? You can kind of see. I'm not saying it was only her, but what I'm saying is it makes you wonder who was working at that studio, because damn, if you got Black Panther looking like he belongs in Validate, that's a little bit sus, you know? That's a little bit sus. So in any case, let's go back to the article really quick. So again, you could go look at those. Oh, here's what I'll do too. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you the actual post on Twitter so you can see all of the concept art here. This is the actual post on Twitter that has all the concept art. I can't show it on stream, but you guys can go look at it yourselves. It very much looks like it was made by somebody who worked on Validate. So you could go check it out. Anyway, so let's go back to the actual article. So when I read something like this and I look at it, I'm like, okay, so the people who are working on this game, it makes a lot of sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. It says, thanks to a new report from Jason Schreier, there is some more information regarding why the game was canceled. Per Jason Schreier, the cancellation was viewed as a shock to employees of the studio. Cliffhanger reportedly had been actively hiring new employees, with the Black Panther game recently hitting a new internal milestone. However, despite hitting the milestone, there was frustration within EA. This goes to show that these studios have no idea what the fuck is really happening. They really don't have a clue. They think to themselves that what they're doing is just and what they're doing is amazing and how they're being justified in their actions. Meanwhile, the executives that are really in charge are looking at this shit and wondering, is this even worth it? Is any of this even worth it, right? So, again, they had no idea that they were going to be shut down in terms of the game, let alone all of them fired. They were actively hiring people even though they were about to be fired, which is crazy. Can you imagine being someone who got hired to work on Black Panther, thinking you landed the job of your dreams only to get fired the next day? Crazy shit, man. According to Jason Schreier, sources close to the game development, EA executives were frustrated that the game had not yet left the pre-production phase after, oh my God, 4 years. This game was in development for 4 fucking years and they had nothing to show for it.
Holy shit.
They had nothing to show for 4 years of development. Holy shit. I think that's longer than Wonder Woman. Wait, how long was the Wonder Woman game in development? Bro, Wonder Woman was in development for 3 years. It says more than 3 years, but it was probably like, slightly over 3 years. Wonder Woman was in development for 3 years. That means the Black Panther game was in development longer than Wonder Woman. They absolutely spent a disgusting amount of money on this game. They 100% spent a crazy amount of money on Black Panther Wakanda Never, because that is insane. Wonder Woman spent over $100 million for 3 years. Guarantee they blew money. Bro, they are just blowing money left and right. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Let's go back. Hold on. Let's go back. They just don't give a fuck. So as for why it was taking so long for the game's development, which began in 2021, but was announced in 2023, the studio had just started to increase its staff count. The report says that many of the workers at Cliffhanger had been hired within the last year. Some, Schreier says, were only with the developer for as little as months and weeks. So they must have been working on this game with a skeleton crew, or what they would view as a skeleton crew, which for a company like EA is probably like 50 to 100 people. And then they finally just decided to staff it up, only for them to tear it down anyway afterwards. Insider Gaming has made multiple attempts to reach out to the studio for comment on how many employees were being moved to other studios and the exact number being let go. As of publishing, no response has been received, and I guarantee you no response will. I guarantee you no response will. So we're talking about a skeleton crew of 50 to 100 people working on a Black Panther game for 4 years. They definitely spent millions upon millions of dollars on this game, only for it to die out, right? But here's the interesting thing, and this is something I want to kind of question you guys on and get your opinion on this. So Black Panther was supposed to be one of 3 Marvel games that Marvel signed a deal with EA to produce. The game is getting canceled, but according to EA, they are still going to deliver on 3 Marvel games because they apparently have 3 other Marvel games that are in production or in the phases of development. Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Because I questioned 2 days ago when we first talked about this. I said, what's going to happen to the deal with EA and Marvel? Is it just going to dissolve? Do they get credited? Like, what's going to happen? Because I thought Black Panther, not that I thought, Black Panther was one of them, but now it's not. So what are they going to be giving up Black Panther for? Can you imagine? Oh my God. Can you imagine if they gave up Black Panther, canceled an original Black characters game just to bring in a character with a white lead in it? Oh my God, dude. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. The backlash they would get. They'd be like, oh, so you didn't see any value in Black Panther, but you wanted to bring some, I don't know, random white character? They will lose their shit. Or even better, can you imagine if they brought a character that they race swapped or something like that? Like, yeah, we don't want to tell the original Black story. We want to give a race swapped white story instead. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's wild. Bring on White Panther. We definitely need White Panther for sure. Bring on White Panther. Let's go. Let's do it. So again, he says, this is their statement. Our partnership with Marvel remains strong and our multi-title long-term collaboration continues. EA statement on the matter read. And they said that there will still be 3 Marvel games released, including Motive's Iron Man. So they're going to have Iron Man coming out, but they canceled Black Panther. And keep in mind, again, Monolith canceled Wonder Woman. So the 2 games that were based on original diverse characters are not going to be released. Why are the wokies not going like crazy over this? I have no idea. I would imagine that they would be, instead of stalking us and how much money we make on YouTube, I would imagine they could put their time that would be better spent into fighting for these games to be released because they feature, you know, original diverse characters. But for some reason, they're a little bit quiet on this. Like, why are you quiet? You don't want to upset Big Daddy Corpo? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? You don't want to upset them? You're too busy worried about demonetizing YouTubers and going after people with lawsuits and stuff. You don't want to talk about the fact that Black Panther's not going to see the light of day. It's just, I find it to be very interesting. That's all I'm saying. The people that supposedly care about gaming or whatever. But in any case. So this is very interesting stuff. And I guess we're going to follow through. But it begs the question. When are we going to get better developers at this point? A lot of the good developers that are out there are the ones that are working for AA and indie studios. It's just a fact. Look at the products that are out there right now that were developed by indie or AA studios, and look how they compare against the majority of the stuff that's been released by AAA over the last 2 years. And you tell me who has the more talent. Seriously, you tell me who has the more talent. You tell me who has the better overall creativity, because you have these people that have way less resources making better products, or at least products that are on par with AAA, even though their budgets are like what, 10 million, 20 million. which sounds like a lot to us, but for video games is really not that much. It's really not that much. And then you have AAA studios working on games like this for 4 years, spending over $100 million, and they have nothing to show for it. They don't even have the baseline of a video game. They don't even have the standard acceptable state of a video game. Nothing. It's crazy shit. And it's because these AAA studios, they don't care about creativity because it's not about creativity. Once you go AAA, it's about corporate. That's all it is. It's corporate mindset. It's corporate everything. Creativity is out the window. AAA, in my opinion, again, I've been finding so much fun this year, especially to be had in AA and indie, which is why I don't care, bro. I'll be one of the few YouTubers or whatever you want to call it. I'll be one of the few that actually cover the indie showcases. Because everybody and their mother, they all cover the fucking AAA showcase. Why? Because they know it's going to get them views. They know that's what people want to see, and they want to maximize their clicks. I don't give a fuck. I covered every single indie showcase because I want to find the creative developers. I want to find the games that look interesting. I want to find the actual fun video games. I don't give a fuck about whether or not it clicks or it doesn't click. And I've said that many times. So that's why I cover all the indie showcases, whether it's good, bad, ugly. I don't care. And the last one was amazing. The last one was amazing. I don't know if you guys watched the last one, but that one was really good. I even covered the Warhammer one too. They had a Warhammer Skull showcase. I will cover all the showcases because I'm looking for who's really out there putting in the work and trying to get the recognition. If I can find even one indie developer or one AA developer that is putting their all into their project and they have a very small budget, very limited for marketing, yeah, I'm going to check out the game. And if it's good, guess what? I recommend it to people. And if it's bad, guess what? I shit on it. It's no different. It's no different. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's why I enjoy it, man. I'm looking for stuff like that. I'm looking for stuff like that, man. So in any case, I mean, that's how we found some of these bangers, you know. Tainted Grail, a game that I'm having way too much fun with. Way too much fun with. I'm actually getting ready to write my review on it. I'm out. How many hours? I think I'm almost 25 hours into the game right now. And I'm ready to write my review, but that game is a shock to me. That game is a shock to me. It was honestly really, really impressive. Yeah, even the game Wu Chang. Even the game Wu Chang, exactly. Wu Chang is, I don't think Wu Chang's a AAA game. I think Wu Chang is I believe AA. So, or maybe even below that. And that game looks fantastic too. I mean, again, I can't get enough of this, man. This is why I feel like we are discovering so many good games this year. It's because people are finally waking up to the fact that AA and indie are just stepping up so big right now that it is bringing us the content that people truly want. People truly want that, right? People want the content that we've been getting, and it's coming at a price of $50 or less. How could you argue with that? When you have AAA that is putting out fucking slop and asking you $80 plus for it, and that's not including DLC, and you got these full fucking games with no DLC for $50 or less. It's unreal. So I will absolutely always focus on this, man. Again, I don't care if it's at the detriment of views or whatever the case would be. If there is an indie showcase out there and I haven't reacted to it and checked it out, I will. Even if it's only for 100, I don't give a fuck. 100 viewers, 200 viewers, I will. I want to see what they have to offer. So anyway, let's move on from this. Again, we're going to follow the story because now that I know that they still have 3 games in production, I want to know what that fourth hidden game is. Because remember, this would have been 4 games they were working on, right? If they still have 3 games for Marvel coming out, that means there was a 4th one. I want to know what that 4th one is. That's what I'm curious about. All right. And yes, I need Wu Chang. I can't wait for that game. That's going to be an awesome game.